So, welcome back to another scene for Lost Cub, where we are starting Shock of Shocks. Back at Anton's actual fucking house with his family. You know, that place that he started at many, many ages ago. Many scenes back. But yeah, we're gonna say Anton took advantage of the chance to spend a day with his mam. Um, who admittedly is usually about the house by herself when she's not out doing this or that, running errands, while the others are at school. And she, and naturally Bubba, have enjoyed the company immensely. So, buddy, pal, friendo, you, I assume, have been over, like, maybe had lunch with your mom. What all
Yeah,
are you up to?
probably would have had lunch with mom, just kind of relaxing around the home because, she likes him being home, likes him being there at times. So he'll be lounging, probably would have had lunch with her to kind of ease her mind and all that initially. Check in and see how she's doing.
She seems to have balanced out. Shit's been crazy, but but mom is still going strong there. Still going pretty strong. And excuse me, with Anton actually home, has been well, she has put off her errands for a day. She can wait a day. Got enough of this and that and the other. And so yeah, honestly, she's just been hanging around the house. She made lunch, cleaned up after lunch, and has kind of done a little bit of busy work. You know, flipped over the laundry a time or two, but all in all, has actually been enjoying coming out and sitting with Anton, like either over on the couch, wherever. You know, let the TV run in the background and just talking, catching up with him. Admittedly, doing the mom thing, trying to figure out what he's been up to. Gotta make sure her baby's safe.
And he'll just tell her, mainly hang around with Susie, kind of, working away really. Kind of keeps it like, like he'll even say like, there's these, bunch of crowd, new guy Bill. He's pretty good, you know what I mean?
How many names will he mention?
He'll mention Bill, Heidi, because he'll mention the ones that have been over to the house, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you'll get a lot of the same. I mean, pretty much what you were expecting, asking, what you've been up to, you know, asking about how everyone's doing, probably nosing in a little hard on the whole subject of Susie because I mean she's not stupid.
He'll tell her it's pretty serious. I could be honest with her; it is pretty serious. I find he is yeah, he finds it pretty damn serious. Susie is a serious part in his life, and she can see it. Even the way he talks about her, there's a fondness, just a little smile on the corner of his face.
Gasp. Yep, there's been nosing about. Oh, it's serious. What are you planning? You gonna, have you been staying? How much have you guys been seeing each other? Blah, 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 blah. It's a
He'll,
lot of just her kind of nosing around, trying to figure out how serious. Because I mean, to be fair, Lizzie was pretty serious for a while too.
he'll look over. We're thinking of getting a place together, Ma. Well, we're in the process of getting one. That's serious. He'll say with a smile.
Must be one hell of a raise you got.
It's been a hell of a raise, and she's got work too. She's getting work with Mr. Thompson for doing photos for the Historical Society.
And she kind of grinned and ever so innocently glanced down at her paper. It's essentially the equivalent of and that's none of my business. But I haven't heard about her getting dragged in a while. You sure? There's a little teasing smile.
We've been spending a lot of time helping her with her work, you know. Um, been spending a lot of time at her place. She doesn't like being on her own when her dad goes off, so I come by and make sure she's all right.
That's good of you, honey.
I don't care.
Seems like it.
Well, what do you think about her? You lean forward now, like it's time to switch reversals here, mother.
Well, honey, you've only brought her over, what, a couple times now?
Well, she's been over, had dinner. She seemed pretty concerned about you guys as well, and she's quite anxious as well to get on with you. So I'm just curious.
Would you like to peony your mama as she plays casual?
Oh yeah, I know this game, Mom. I fail actually. No, I don't see it.
Oh shit. I have scrolled way up for some reason. And yeah, she I mean, you catch nothing. You can't get the vibes. Can't get a hint. Mom's on point right now.
Damn it, Mom.
And she, of course, casually kind of glances to, fuck it, we'll say your mom's got really obnoxious stay-at-home mom hobbies. So as she starts, like, scribbling into the crossword in the paper, she kind of gives that easy little shrug. Well, she does seem like a sweet girl. She did hang out for a while after everything that happened.
She was pretty concerned. Um, she was pretty concerned, especially for Christine as well.
She did spend a lot of time with your sister.
She worries about her.
Almost as much as you do?
Yeah, she's close to beating me, I think.
That'll be the day.
How is Christine doing?
No, about the usual.
She's still being her stroppy self, or
Oh, here and there.
it's not too bad at least.
Here's another, like that ever so innocent glance back down to the crossword as she's scribbling in another word. Just not nearly so bad as you were.
What? I was never that bad. He'll lean back.
She's trying so hard to keep that smile flat. Trying so hard.
I was a lot more calmer. In fact, I'll have you know. Just gets very like, takes a sip of his coffee, like, huh.
Probably helps that I haven't given her a car to sneak off in.
You gave
No,
her.
it said it's probably better. It's probably because I haven't given her a car to sneak off in, and there's just the smirk is broadening ever so slightly. Like,
Probably,
yeah, I know what you got up to.
probably, just a tiny bit. Takes a sip of his drink.
She, there's, a little bit of a pause, so casual, scribbling in on her crossword. And she'll, take a little glance over and go, oh, but her boyfriend drives, though.
You met him?
You might say that.
What's he like?
She shrugs. It's like a teenage boy, Anton.
That is the worst description you've ever given, Ma. Is he like me, teenage boy wise, or Phil?
Oh, thankfully neither.
I see.
More subtle attempts to keep the grin down.
When's he coming over next?
There's, again, the innocent shrug. I suppose there's no real telling. He does have an open invitation to the table, though.
Does he? That's surprising.
He knows how to behave himself.
Oh, I see how it is. Like, no, it's fine. Just holds up his hands.
Besides, if you take away all the charm of sneaking around because your parents don't approve, it doesn't seem to get quite as wild.
Doesn't answer that. He's like, nearly says that's not half as fun, but he just takes a sip of his coffee. He's like, yeah, mm-hmm.
That, like, fucking perfect narrow little side glance of, like, yeah, I know your shit.
Look, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why I'm being hinted at that I do something wrong. I have been perfectly good.
I haven't said anything about you, Anton. That is just putting words in my mouth.
Smirks.
She finally, like, loses it for enough to smirk down at the paper. She tries so hard, but it cracks.
I'm eventually going to have to meet him.
Oh, yeah, eventually I'll just call you when I know he's coming over. Watch your sister go into hysterics.
Yeah, she runs up in her room every time I mention him.
Well, you didn't like that last boy so much.
He was a dick.
That look happens. You know the look. The kind of glance over, like, really?
He was. Lazy good for nothing.
Did you expect him to have 2 jobs, Anton? You're teenagers. He was in high school.
Still lazy. I heard the stories around school.
I don't think I've ever heard of the gossip train doing anyone favors.
Nah, but shrugs.
But no, he's a nice enough boy. Not the most exciting thing that any of you, pointed side glance this time, have gotten tangled up in, but maybe that's a good thing, and maybe that's on purpose.
Maybe you shouldn't be doing so many fucking drug deals then.
She quirks a brow.
Well, her boyfriend was into that shit. Or that old one.
He said hypocritically.
He did. Said so hypocritically. It's not even fucking funny how hypocritical he is. Even he goes, wow, that was hypocritical, but fuck it. We're in this boat now.
I'm committed now.
Probably got himself fucking killed for doing it.
What, for selling some pot, Anton?
I heard the stories.
She shrugs. Can't imagine a boy his age getting into anything hard.
You'd be surprised, Ma.
Apparently so.
They ain't the 1960s anymore, Ma. Winks.
She just brings up the hand to her heart, rocking back slightly like, woe is me. Flutters her lashes briefly. It'll never be the same.
So, what is your maiden name, Mom? You never told me about any of that.
She kind of glances over. Have it?
Nope.
Honey, it's my middle name.
I mean, like your surname before you got married.
Yeah, when you want to hold on to an old name. A lot of women, when they change their last name to their husband's name, they'll change their middle name to their family name.
You never told me your middle. You never told me your middle name either.
Well, see, now you're just not nosy enough. It's Miller, honey.
Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like old or like an English version? Like an English version of another name or something?
Couldn't tell you.
Did your man not tell you?
She did say it was a long family, but
How come we never met Grandma?
Oh, they moved out of the area.
Peony the fuck out of that. Oh, 6 successes.
Why does it keep hopping me like a million years up the thing? Um, it's a half truth.
Moved out of the area with no little word, and yet they never come to any of the like christenings or graduations or birthdays. No post in the mail.
Well, honey, they were from an older time. I haven't gotten letters in a long while, and Daddy's gone.
Okay.
And Mama, she wasn't from around here, so Daddy gone. She decided to leave.
Peony in that.
Seems earnest enough.
Leave where? Like, she say where she was going?
She kind of rubs her face thoughtfully. Mama was from down in North Carolina somewhere.
And there's no way of contacting her.
I suppose you could. If she hasn't moved, you could write her.
Ryder. She got a phone.
She never really took to the whole cell phone thing very well.
Not even
Found
a
them real confusing.
not even a landline.
And Mama and Papa moved around a lot.
Okay.
And there towards the end, Papa had some problems. They got used to not having a phone.
Problems.
It's kind of an awkward kind of nose wrinkle.
What kind of problems?
And she finally reaches over and just kind of pats her hand briefly onto the back of yours just once. Kind of lays it there for a second. Money trouble, honey.
Money trouble.
We've had a lot of bad luck in the family.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Mom and Pa did a lot of moving because we had to. And Grandma and Granddaddy, well, they didn't have much luck with money either.
I see. What caused that?
Dunno? Some sort of just, they always said there was some bad luck.
Bad luck. Right. Okay, Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Time to consult the ancestors.
Oh, really? Do it.
Please. Aiming particularly for El Knife.
El Knifo?
El Knifo. 1 success.
Yeah, you managed to get him. Make that connection.
Back of says like, what's this about family and money problems?
And the answer you get is essentially, how the hell should I know? I was dead.
You kept an eye out on the family. Don't tell me you didn't. Let's not lie to each other here.
When my daughter was still alive, they stayed in the home. Same home you're staying in.
And after she passed on? Come on, buddy.
There
What?
is an pointed pause, just a kind of falling silent.
Anton's like, well, fine. Don't answer me then.
You try to dig, and he apparently is having none of it. He just kind of falls silent. The connection's still there. It's not quite the same as a dial tone, but
Hey, it's job. If I can figure out what this bad luck is, I can maybe set about setting some family debts straight. You said I'm on my own in this world. Well, if my family's suffering bad luck, how the hell am I going to make it if I have bad luck hounding at my door every second? So whatever it is, I need to know about it.
to call it bad luck is superstitious.
What is it then?
There's a thoughtful kind of reel back. I was not able to keep as close an eye once my daughter passed. And there were no others of us that had quite the same connection.
Meaning there wasn't any guru?
Not that I know of.
Great. And
What
what?
it is worth, it has been I don't know how many generations.
And what the crowd that, whatever the fuck it is, the nation or whatever you call it, they never kept an eye on the family?
We did make a point of disappearing.
Why?
That is a story for when you were older.
Leans back like, bitch, you know what I mean? But doesn't say anything like, fine. It's a dream for when you're older. I'll figure it out.
Share your eyes with me.
He does.
And yeah, as you glance around, like you can almost feel kind of the weirdest little pressure, like you want to look left, you want to look over at your mom.
He does. Probably looks right at his mom.
Oh yeah, she's bowed back over the crossword puzzles as you have fallen silent. And yeah, he just regards her at length. Hmm. It has been a very long time.
Yeah, it has been. He bites back saying something fucking nasty because, well, considering what his dad was, ooh, he bites back. What he's gonna say.
He's going to say?
I'll have to roll willpower because, to be honest, this is his dad. And let's see, Anton, you've got a new willpower score, so let's see how well we're doing. Nope, he says it. You know, this is gonna sound harsh, and you know what? Fuck it, maybe it is. Maybe if you had kept a better eye, she wouldn't have married a worm-tainted fucking scum like that. That would have had the fucking garrot.
My time has come and gone. I have slept until you reached out, until you touched me here, where I belong. It is no longer my duty. It is yours.
I bet it is.
It is a shame to see us fallen so far.
We're not gone yet.
Even the house is in shambles. Natalia
I
will
am.
have a fit.
I am working on it. And I'll need to speak to her eventually too. When she's not taking over my body.
There may be an idle chuckle going on.
All right.
It may seem harsh, but we must be able to survive without having to reach out. Your mother, if what you say is true, has seen misfortune, and yet there she sits.
Because I took care of it. I didn't tell her exactly what the fuck happened.
Nor should you.
I won't. Anyway, I gotta go I'm gonna go continually fix this fucking. Just rubs the back of his head, like almost like tapping the back of his head to like bonk the link off, like he's just switching on a dial phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do so. Mom kind of finally glances up from the crossword, quirking a
Fly,
brow.
fly.
Eh? Well, I hope you showed it who was boss.
Oh, I did. You lean back. So are you gonna start calling yourself Miller again?
She kind of finally scrunches her face thoughtfully, laying the paper down on her lap as opposed to, holding it propped up. I don't know. Your daddy and I never properly went through a divorce, though I suppose I could legally change my name.
Gets his dice pool ready. I'm gonna go with manipulation leadership. I get some extra dice because natural leader. And pure breed. Fuck me, I forgot. Jesus. So manip 4. Let me double check my leadership. And Tom. Leadership's 3, so that's 7. 10 for pure breed. 2 for natural leader. Okay. So what I'm going to say. I don't know if charm is coming into this.
Yeah, it depends on how you say it.
Well, Ma. I think it's about time you did something for you for a change. Maybe it might actually signify a new start. Moving on and getting your life back on track. Maybe it might be a good thing. For both you, Christine, Phil, me. Might be a good thing to start again. Even with a new name. Doesn't mean you have to move. Say with a smile.
That's a good thing. Can't afford to.
And well, maybe it might be good for you. Tanya Miller does have a nice ring to it.
You get your wry smirk. Let me look. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Get your wry smirk. But she doesn't look displeased by the idea. Your mom doesn't necessarily move quickly on things, so she's not immediately like, I shall file paperwork. But you get the impression you've...
The seed, the thought is planted. That's all it needs.
The seed is definitely planted. Might be awkward to explain, what with him not around. Can't
Sure,
even find the
Christine.
bastard to serve him papers.
Well, that's his loss. And his decision. And I'm sure Christine and Phil will understand.
I'm not worried about your brother and sister. Knowing Christine, she'll be right behind me with the same set of papers.
And there you go. Just because he's not around and gone, I'm sure the court or whatever law thing will be perfectly understanding.
Oh, you can legally change your name anytime you like, honey. It's just a lot easier when you get married. It's probably a lot easier when you get proper divorced, but
And I'm sure if you talk to somebody, they'll be quite understanding of your situation. If you need me, I can pay for the money.
oh, I don't imagine it'll cost that much.
There you go then. Miss Miller does have a nice ring to it, Ma.
She again kind of side smirks. Moving right along, aren't we?
Shrugs. Suits.
Let's roll something for you, Mama.
What's Ma doing?
Ma's been thinking.
What's Ma been thinking, huh?
Question is, what's your mom been remembering? Hmm. Thinking, mulling over your mom. Yeah, we'll give her the default average. Because, oh, that's one. All the same. You know, thinking about it, your granddaddy told the damnedest stories. Or my granddaddy told the damnedest stories.
It's an eyebrow raise. No.
Oh yeah, he always said all the bad luck started when his mama died. Everything just started going wrong. Things broke, stopped working. Had to leave behind everything they had.
Who was his mom? What was her name?
God, Anton, it's been. I was a little girl when I talked to my granddaddy. That was your great granddaddy. She kind
I
of
give you
reels
something
back
to.
to think about it.
I give you something to look into.
You know what? You sit there just a second. She kind of gets up and your mom is old school enough to have photo albums, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's kind of that pile collection of various albums, and it's not fancy scrapbooking. It's a lot of photos, and they usually have names, they have time, like either years or ages. Especially for you guys, each of you has all three of you have a photo album where she has taken and just relentlessly kept various pictures of all three of you. There's there's even a photo album for her and your dad, and you might, in fact, roll me intelligence.
Sure.
Do it.
One.
Yeah, there's even you remember some of them are old and tatty, and there's some that she even moved to store somewhere else because once you kids were old enough, with your grubby little hands going everywhere. There's a couple that she's even removed at some point. And so she does briefly go over to where the albums are, pops open that little cabinet and rifles through them real quick and goes, no, no. Oh, damn it. And finally pops it shut, and you hear her climbing up the stairs. And of all things, you actually hear her pull down the very seldom used, the we're putting up
Yeah.
your winter clothes attic ladder.
It just kind of sparks to himself as he flicks out his phone, you know, idly texting away and whoever are seeing if there's anyone. Like, you know what I mean? That standard thing.
And yeah, she finally you have a couple minutes as she goes up into the attic briefly, and soon enough returns with one very weathered album, and kind of has her nose scrunched as she comes back down. Probably should have thought about the fact that the heat wouldn't do any favors to old photos like these. Sits down next to you properly this time.
You know, sits down beside her and look through it with her, looking for the name.
And let's see. There are several pictures of. Let me make sure I'm queuing up the right ones. There's a number of pictures of her at various stages, like her going to like prom, you know, pictures of her just out in the yard, whatever have you. Pictures of her as a kid. There's even a baby photo or two in there. A lot of the photos though, like some of them just aren't really good anymore. Things have happened like heat on really old photograph paper. It's not good. And she kind of winces periodically, but you know, there's still like scribbling in the barely legible handwriting um, that has her name and has it looks in fact like some of it is her scribbles where she's gone back and tacked on the age. Uh, you'll notice though that the trend is that they're in various different places over the course of the photos. Like you'll see one house in one, you'll see a different house in the background of another. Um, and I mean, you know enough to be able to look and discern that she's not exactly running around in the finest of clothes. I mean, she's a kid, and kids run
Oh,
around
yeah.
in whatever is available, but it's not the finest stuff. But she does finally get back, and you will see beginning appearances, and eventually even this actual photo. These two,
Looks down at them.
and again, it's you'll see them through various ages. You'll probably see her several times, like especially in the pictures where your mom herself is younger. Her propping her up. You'll see at least one of him holding her. But yeah, it's the two of them. And she even will point to this particular photo. I want to say Mama told me this was from the day they got married.
Okay. What was her name?
Oh, Mama's name was Daisy. Daddy's name was Peter.
What was your grandfather and grandma's name?
I want to say Granddaddy was on your daddy's side. Granddaddy's name was
No, no, just on your side.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, on my daddy's side. Uh, his mama's name was Elena, and Granddaddy's name was Simon.
Helena and Simon. Okay. Nods to himself.
And she'll be still peeling back, and there are vast gaps, obviously, and there are points where there's a whole page of photos that have just kind of gone off and gotten completely discolored and distorted by the heat. Uh,
You know, I could give these to Susie and she could help restore them.
I know she takes a good picture, Anton, but are you sure she can fix something that this far gone?
Worst thing she can do is say no. It's worth a try at least.
It is. It is. I'll let you take it with you. See if she can
Alright.
do anything with them.
Okay.
Oh, and she finally flips to like one of the last pages. And you will see, and man, it is a wonder that this photo is still, still there at all, really. You'll see those two.
And who are they?
I want to say that's Grandma and Granddaddy. My grandma and granddaddy. Your great grandparents.
Looks down at them. Military man.
He did. He did his service. I got the impression he was kind of raised to it, almost. She kind of pitches you a side glance.
In the back of his head, he's like, I can't imagine fucking why. You know what I mean? That type of nod.
But yeah, I want to say he might have signed up after his mama died. You know, when he said everything went wrong. And of course, they moved so he could serve, at least for a while, but they did come back around here afterwards.
Yeah. Starting to see something. It was just nod. It's a good thing we're still here then.
I suppose so. I do like being out away from the city.
Ah, nods.
Too loud, too smelly. Besides, I've always grown up running around in the woods. She reaches over and, like, no shit, like, ruffles your hair. Couldn't imagine you kids growing up without being able to run around, play in the woods, make up monsters, and fight them with sticks.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, we've always had our problems, honey. We lose contact. I know Daddy went kind of early, had some sort of complications.
Well, I think our luck's gonna change.
Be real nice if it did, wouldn't it?
I think so. He gently takes the photo album.
Oh yeah, she gingerly closes.
I'll bring this over to Susie and see what she says.
I think some of them are lost cause, but it'd be nice if she could save some of them.
Well, we'll see. He grins, pecks his mom on the cheek as he's heading out.
And yeah, she doesn't hold him up. Just as you get up and head out, she'll kind of glance up. You need anything before you head out? Anything to take with you?
Nah, you're alright, man. Don't worry. Just let me know when the boyfriend's coming over. Smirk as he's, walking towards his car.
Well, at least at that point, she's just kind of smirking and shaking her head and lets you go. Heads back inside.
As he's driving, he'll flick out the phone and ring El Susie Q.
El Susie Q, you say?
Yes.
Madam herself. Wouldn't you know? She answers. Hey, what's up?
Hey, you home?
Yeah.
I have something for you.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's actually pretty interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's something you like.
I mean, I hope so, if you're bringing it as a surprise.
Oh, it's something I think that she can help out with. I think it'll be very interesting.
You can hear the grin. Is it a surprise or a project?
It's a bit of both.
Oh, I see now.
As he pulls up into the driveway, he'll take up the photo album very carefully.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh shit, are you already here?" Like, you
Yeah.
hear the doom 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 over the phone.
Yeah, hang up the phone as he, comes out, opens the door.
And yeah, she's just now pattering down the stairs. Hey, fancy meeting you here.
Fancy seeing you here. Smirks. Ma found a little bunch of old photos of the family, like her family.
Huh?
Guess what our surname was? Well, before she married my dad,
She just kind of gives a shrug, like, "What?
Miller.
Wait, you mean like the old Miller place Miller, or just happens to be Miller?"
Old Miller Place Miller.
Are you sure? Like, she does
Winks.
a little scrunchy face.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, let's see it. Come on. Makes the grabby hands.
He'll hand over the thing very gently. Some of them are in a bit of disrepair, and I'm wondering, since you do the photography, are you able to restore photos as best as you can?
Depends on how fucked they are, and
Some of them
I
probably
don't
aren't.
imagine they're gonna have negatives. Really, how some of this stuff.
Some of them, some of them are probably not going to be saved. Like, not really, but if you can save some, it'll mean the world to my mom.
And yeah, she'll. I mean, she's mindful of the fact that it is a very old and kind of tattered album. Like, it's rough around the edges. It's been handled a lot. It's been tossed around. It's been packaged and moved. So she's mindful of that and kind of cradles it in the arm as she prizes it open, kind of like, please don't have all the pages fall out. Okay, good. And goes from there and kind of flicks through a couple pages. And admittedly, this doesn't have the kind of sentimental impact for her that it does for you. So it's not quite as, like, she's not staying and staring at the photos. You can tell that she's kind of grazing over them with the eyes of someone who has had to just handle a lot of photographs in her time, kind of looking, assessing. She eventually flicks to one of the pages where, like, legit, like, all two or three photos on it have been just completely eaten by the heat and grimaces, like, oh,
Like I said, some of them are probably not able to be saved, but even just if like one or two, it would mean the world to my mom.
yeah, I can see what I can do. I mean, once she kind of leans in, once the chemicals in the paper are shot, they might just be shot, but if I can see it well enough, or maybe scan and correct it some, I might be able to just fudge it on the computer with some digital shit.
Anything you can do, like I said, it would mean the world to my mom.
She, carefully closes the book and pops up on her toes to give you a peck on the cheek. I'll give it a shot.
Okay. You been doing alright?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you want to see our beautiful photos from our day out?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of grinning.
Sure. How's the place coming along? He's walking up the stairs, assumably.
I checked out what kind of deposit we'd need,
Mm-hmm.
and freaked out a little.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't placed it yet, but I do have a hold on it.
Place it. Just walking. We still got a lot of the money left over.
Oh, yeah, I've only really bought film and photo supplies. I'm
Oh,
taking that
there you
big
go
chunk
then.
out of it.
Place it. You wink.
Whew.
I still have to work up on the old Miller place and stuff like that, but place of our own means I can stop by more often.
Hmm.
And actually stay.
Yeah, don't have to run tail tucked when Dad comes home.
Pretty much.
Fair enough. And yeah, she leads you upstairs. and actually does pull out a handful of photos and tosses them over so you can get a look at them.
Look at them.
I mean, admittedly, a couple are of the ridiculous fucking displays that she photographed. But most of the ones she bothers to toss you, she like plucks out a couple and tosses, are things like your ludicrous selfie and maybe candid photos that she snagged while you weren't looking.
Smirks down at her. Like smirks down at them.
Masterful, right?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of great. Whew. She goes and actually sets the album like just right on top of her scanner. Just so it's like, this is here now. This is where this lives until I actually open it and start carefully scanning things and try not to break everything.
So how you feeling about the Miller place? All the gang.
There are a
Odd.
lot of people there.
Yeah, they're odd.
And yes, they're odd. But Jesus, Anton, where in the world did you get some of these guys?
Ask Becca. Leans back.
Oh, foisting it off on Becca? I see how it is.
Her idea.
If you say so. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised Becca can command that kind of clusterfuck of people to appear.
Yeah. There's one that's... he was a bit of a problem, but he's fucked off now.
Oh, that guy with the weird look about him?
Yeah. He's fucked off. All the fucking better for it.
He just kind of shoots him a vaguely concerned looking side glance.
Anton just shakes his head. It's nothing, honey.
Okay.
He just runs his mouth.
I will believe you. I did not go near him.
Good. Smirks. Good.
Kind of like scrunches the nose briefly, like, wait. But yeah, that is quite the group. But then again, it was really cool to see some more of the property. There's a lot more there than I banked on when I went nosing around. I just found the house.
We're exploring every day. We're finding a lot of shit. Once the copperheads are cleared out, well, I'll let you come and take photos of the stuff.
I mean, shit, at this point, it's getting cold enough they probably couldn't move unless you kicked them, and even then, I'm pretty sure they'd just look really mad about it.
We'll take that precaution. You know, you kind of gives her hands up. It's personal now. We're
Oh, is it?
It's personal.
I wonder if it's swampy around there somewhere.
Might be. That's what we're thinking. We're thinking that. We'll root them out, though.
Yeah, they're big on water. Usually, if you find a bunch of copperheads out somewhere, it's kind of got a marshy bit nearby.
In the back of his head, he's like, "Now I know where you live."
Yeah, they always like nest near marshy crap.
I'll keep that in mind.
So it's like you get bit and you're covered in mud halfway up the shin. Rats.
I'll keep that in mind when we launch our final assault on them.
Your final assault.
Yes, it looks quite serious.
Is this war now?
Oh, it's been an ongoing struggle.
Tell me there are banners.
There are.
Absolutely awesome.
We had a great victory in the tall grass.
You know what? You let me know the next time you go to battle, and I'll take video.
You should ask Becca about it. She watched the last battle.
Oh yeah?
First-hand seats.
Just kind of shakes her head. I will do that.
Smiles. Okay. Well, I gotta go. I gotta do some more things.
Do some more things?
Gotta be all stand up, organized and shit.
Gotta be all out with your conspiracy theories and your gangs and your haunted mansion.
Gang life isn't too bad. Smirks at her.
Better not be. She like points with
It's not.
like, I don't know, like a fucking film canister, like gestures at you with it.
It is not too bad. I promise.
Good.
Nothing I can't handle.
I've only just finished the negatives for all the stuff I shot last time I was out there.
Well, good. Keep
Heidi
busy.
makes for a proper ghost, though, let me tell you.
Ideas. Shakes her head. You haven't seen the face paint yet.
There's face paint.
I got her face paint.
Pixar didn't happen.
Oh, don't worry. When you come over next, she'll ambush you.
Oh, come on, tell me you took selfies. There have to be selfies.
Like I
Come
said,
on.
they're selfies, but I'm saving this special experience for first-hand viewing.
Oh. I'm gonna come out looking like a Lisa Frank painting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm weirdly okay with that.
Peck her on the cheek. Give me a call soon. I'll be out doing stuff, so.
You know what? You let me know when you're back around the house. Maybe I'll drop by.
That'd be great. Actually, say with a genuine smile.
Good, it better be.
Yeah, it will be. Boop.
And yeah, she'll at least get up to give him a kiss before he goes, but
He starts padding off. The first thing to do is you're going to sit in his car and drive up the road a bit, and then we'll park. And I'm going to try reach out to the fucking the guy who I can't remember which relative, the one that said everything was wrong when his mother died. That one.
okay.
I'm going to try reach out internally through the network. Wow.
Here's the crazy thing. You reach and you get the weirdest kind of like, you know, when you skip a stone and it skips a couple times, then it plunges in.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the weird experience, like weird disjointed feeling you get. Like you try, like you're starting to feel like you got a handle on this, and what happens is it's kind of like you just skip over it, like you can't make contact.
Okay.
You skim past, and instead you will
Ooh.
make contact.
Oh, yeah, it kind of makes this whoa, that type of noise.
I mean, it's not that you see anything per se, at least not yet. Actually, though, with that roll, actually you do. I lied. And she is just sitting in the passenger seat of your car and glancing around.
Makes that noise. Ugh.
These things are still so hideous.
It's not that bad.
I prefer to carriage. She folds her hands in her lap very primly.
Pat's is the steering wheel. Well, this is the closest thing I can get to a carriage at the minute.
And there's a vague, a little bit of a side glance, like, ugh. And she proceeds to continue just kind of looking around. Like, very carefully, not touching. She is so in her own personal space right now, like she doesn't want to touch the car,
Look
even though
over.
she's sat in it.
Were you his mother?
Hmm?
Well, my mom showed me.
Are you talking about my boy Simon?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm his mother. Of course I'm his mother.
Then why did he blame everything went wrong when you died?
The expression kind of firms. The lips just go into that stiff line of, you have now annoyed me.
I mean, in terms of trying to restore the family back to its former glory. I need to know what happened in order to figure out not to have it repeat again.
Take me home and I will talk as we ride.
All right, you load up the car and start driving back to the old Miller place.
And I mean, weirdly enough, she is mostly kind of there. It's not like she's a see-through ghost. It's just the weirdest impression that you know she's not there, but there she is.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like her color's a little faded. She's just a teeny bit out of sync. Gaia only blessed me with one son. And he was not so blessed as to change.
I see.
And actually, do me a quick wits check because
Sure. Well,
fun.
quick thinking coming into this.
Not for this. Not that you need it. It might occur to you that the way she's talking, she kind of flowers it up a little, and it's one of those things where it hits you like partway through her speaking that she is not speaking English, but that's okay because she's in your head, so her intended meaning is past. But it's kind of like that first time you realize you're using high tongue. It's just kind of weird.
There's like blah.
And she kind of smooths her skirt on her lap. I should have prepared him. But he could not see them or hear them. How could he possibly pay our debts? How could he possibly pay our contracts?
Well, the debt has been retaken up.
All of them. She glances over.
The one with the garden, anyway.
That is one.
I don't know if there's any more. It would be nice to know.
There were many, but not all of the spirits even came from this place. They may have left.
Well,
How long has it been?
Many, many years.
How many steps did it take before one of us changed again?
According to your father, I'm the only one.
And how many steps are there then between us?
When were you born?
She's going for generations, not years.
You'd think. Like, how many fucking generations has it been?
Well, you've got your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mom.
she told you of at least, what, 2 more generations?
Holds up his fingers. 3. Guessing 4, 5, maybe?
Hmm. How strange.
Well,
It used to be such a strong line.
looks over with this expression of, gee, fucking thanks. You know what I mean?
For what it's worth, she looks kind of wistful. Really, she's kind of looking out the windows as, like, the fucking landscape is sailing past because you're driving at normal driving speed, which to her is quite fast.
It will be again.
I did feel so badly for my boy.
The past is the past now. What the time is done. As much as we want to change it, we can't.
Did he live well?
He had many children. He did not live as rich and ragged, but from what I saw of the photos, he was happy.
The lips kind of purse a bit at the term ragged. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, that my pride.
While that may hurt the heart in terms of holding on to the things we bought, at least he married well. Married someone he wanted.
He was always a headstrong boy.
I
She
get the
glances up as you're pulling into the estate.
I get the impression most of this family is.
You are not wrong. And you quickly type a few things. All right. Oh yeah, as you pull up to the house, she just looks again. It's that very stiff line of an expression. The mouth is just pressed firmly shut.
Back against the car. It'll take some time, but I'm rebuilding it.
And she doesn't so much get out of the car as she is suddenly very abruptly outside of the car.
Gets out.
And she just walks up, trailing her hands up the guard. You should have seen it.
I can see it in the Umbra.
I went home so many times. And brought back so many things.
It is an amazing view in the Umbra.
I thought of it as going home. Even though I was born here.
Oh, nod. That language you speak. Can you teach me?
Of course.
I'll need to learn it. What was your full name?
I never did take a proper husband. My name stayed Garland.
They're calling themselves Miller now.
I will not make you peony. The expression comes over her face. She looks earnestly. Actually, peony, so I can tell whether or not to give you a sordid detail. Because she very blatantly looks disgusted.
Sure.
But with that, it may may or may not stand out. She doesn't look surprised at all. Just kind of ew
There's an
about it.
eyebrow. There's an eyebrow raise. The Millers are something, gestures with the hand.
And again, it's one of those things where like you walk up the stairs with her very abruptly. Like it, and again, it's kind of weird and it's slightly out of sync. It's almost like an echo. But the footsteps outside, she kind of blinks again and you can hear the slight echo of the footsteps just inside.
Follows her in.
Like many, we decided to take a new name when we came to a new land to leave old history behind. It was the name on the papers. It is not the name I used.
I see.
She still just has that kind of ew
And
look
so what's
on her face.
and so what's the actual name?
Oh, we are Cardlands.
Cardlands?
Yes.
From where?
Let me quickly. That's not what I wanted. And she kind of pauses, taking a glance back. Moldova.
Moldova. Nods to himself. Interesting.
And let me just make sure. Yeah, that definitely. Pardon. Should say from Moldavia.
Moldavia. Just gives the eyebrow raise like, huh. Interesting. I suppose then. Nods to himself. What other deals do I need to know about? Ones that you know are still here.
She scans the building. Which have you spoken to?
Shadows, pain, the tree, the grass, the trees points out the garden, the water.
Ah, yes. Ah, the water is an important one. The water and the marsh.
The
She
marsh.
kind of gestures off to, just kind of in a vague direction. They are the ones. They
And
are
what
the
do I
contracts that would have fallen first and
what
made
do
the
I
house unlivable.
and what do I say to the marsh? What deal did you have? Turn around and face her.
Oh, the deal was never mine. It is one I upheld.
And what was the deal?
Hmm. me one moment. We did two things. Holds up two fingers. Our contracts with the water was always strong. We ensured that, no matter the weather, the marsh survived, even in the most heinous droughts, even when there was little rain. It must have enough water, or it is no longer a marsh. And for another, as she has walked through the hall and again kind of blips at the back door, which admittedly is kind of obnoxious because it's mid-sentence, but you get the distinct impression she is carried on outside, out the back. Shall I assume you follow?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. She, again, is peering off in a very particular direction. She, for what it's worth, continues to hold her head very high, even looking out over the disarray of her family estate. We sunk our fingers into enough of what was growing here to ensure that the marsh would never be drained, would never be built upon. It
Nods.
was admittedly harder than the water, but it was worth it. It was easy enough to speak to the light, but the light and the darkness, they do not get along. But the marsh. She kind of gestures back to the big shell of a building. The night it was always enough aglow that we could see. We could do as we needed to do. But not so much that it unsettled our other friends.
Don't worry, me and the knight have a very good relationship.
Then do not make the mistake. She holds up a finger very sternly, like a fucking schoolmarm almost. Do not make the mistake of calling light into this place.
I don't. The knight tells me things I need to know. For the good of the group.
Of course it does. For the right price, the dark will tell you anything.
So why would I call the light in when it would hinder what I need to know?
And she flicks a glance upwards. With winter, the days grow shorter.
Good.
With less light, there is less you can do. There comes a point where it is too dark to work.
I'll adapt.
Well, the marsh can give you what you need.
Precisely.
There is also the pump and the furnace, but
it's a different time now. We can create artificial light that can be gone at the flick of a touch. So it would not disturb the others.
well, we could create light. Well, this is what the pump is for.
Different pump now.
She just kind of waves the hand like, yeah, whatever, kind of thing, like, kind of dismissively.
And
it's beyond her time.
What does the marsh look for in particular?
She kind of glances back.
And how can I get what I want from the marsh, but not have us all the time running around? How can I gain an advantage? Because as you said, the deals are long past.
Perhaps, but they were contracts held for generations. I
Did
held it, my father held it, his father before him.
And then the line fell, and it's re-picked up again.
Perhaps they could be swayed.
They will be swayed.
I'm sure they will. She actually, at that point, that line, that's where she actually turns around, and you know that thing that like a grandmother will do with a child, almost like the grab you by your little chin type thing. Not like the little pinch, but like actually like cradle the jawline, pull your head up a little bit, like the kind of "I'm proud of you" gesture. She reaches out and she, as you said, they will. She reaches out and does just that. As I am sure they will.
So what can you tell me about them before I go in?
I have told you what they wished from us. I do not know, especially the second, how far that has fallen. It has been a very long time, and I have not walked. Besides, there are many snakes, and they are almost as vicious as my father.
We'll eradicate them.
Do you think that is what the marsh wishes?
No. But they need to learn their place.
And so they will.
In fact, he'll look over his shoulder, looks back at the mansion. In fact, I might do a little something. Fuck it, I'm going into the Umbra.
Who are you?
Yeah.
I assume you're gonna just walk into the house and take a look in that big mirror.
Take my time.
Oh yeah, she is still standing out on the back porch when you cross.
Start walking towards the marsh. You can watch if you like.
I do like. And admittedly, she doesn't have to worry about things like the fact that it has been pouring fucking rain and is muddy and skitty. I will have you do athletics checks while you are tromping out into the property.
If I go out into Lupus, will this affect that at all?
It will be slightly easier, yes.
Yes, I would take it into Lupus.
Do it.
Yes. Say athletics?
Yes.
Ninja Anton.
Yeah, you're fine. Dude, it is slick as shit out there. Now, with 4 paws especially, you're gold. You're good. The next time you look over, she's still accompanying you in that weird ghostly way, though she is an incredibly sleek black wolf. That is, like, if there wasn't that weird off-putting slight discoloration around her, you feel like you wouldn't pick her out. Not at night, not out.
No. Yeah,
not out in this.
Totally. She starts padding along. Pad, 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 pad.
She just follows. Now, here's the thing, buddy. You're going to be walking a while. This isn't something that's like immediately close to the house.
Oh no.
It's out on the outskirts of the property, but the property you're discovering as you continue to tread, and she continues to just kind of keep looking in the same direction.
Vast, yeah.
Is massive.
Thank God I'm in Lupus because I move a bit quicker. So yeah, thank God.
You do, and you pick your way along pretty well. Eventually, though, you will get to a point where the splashing isn't puddles anymore. And you've definitely seen more ambient spirits. Like, of course, as soon as you get out into the property, there's spirits everywhere. There's trees, there's plants, there's nesting animals, there's a raccoon, there's a possum. There's certainly a snake here or there. And I mean, all of them just kind of keep doing their shit. They don't pay much mind to you.
He just pads along, not looking. Basically, I'm not causing trouble. I'm not looking for trouble type pad.
Oh yeah, and thankfully it is late enough in the year and it is cold enough that you will not encounter mosquitoes, things like that. But there comes a point where like you're splashing. And from here, give me an alertness check.
Sure.
The darkness will balance out some of the advantage you're getting in Lupus. But that is 2 10s.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. So as you're padding in, like proper in, and there's been like you've gone through the woods, you've bypassed the stream that like JJ aimed for, and you've gotten out to one of the places where it kind of drifts off and just kind of disseminates into the local area. And again, there are a number of spirits. The marsh is teeming with life, even spiritually. But as you're wading in and you're seeing, frogs, you're seeing small fishes, there's definitely water spirits. There's water spirits everywhere. It's beautiful right now. You have been followed by, at the very least, one of your storm crows. So you'll see others flitting around here and there. Um, but from your vantage, you catch kind of, they almost look like nylon strands, and it's not right there. It's not like right there in the middle of it. But as you're looking around, as you're casting about, you catch a glint of them, and considering Anton's fixation on spiders and spider webbing. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The alarm noise goes off in his head and looks around. Looks back at his ancestor. What was the primary guardian of this place that you negotiated with?
He may be in slumber at this point. It has been a long time. And she's glancing about herself.
Well, what were his brood?
And you know what? I'm going to flick that he to a she, because it occurs to me that I have an image.
He's just sitting there like, don't be a spider, 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 don't be a spider.
It's definitely not a spider.
That's just the internal monologue of Anton. Don't, no.
Don't be a spider. Don't be a spider. She is probably sleeping.
But what was its brood?
She is the marsh.
And how would I wake her up?
There's a thoughtful kind of squint. I am not there.
Neither am I.
Usually when I wish something to wake, I feed it. Usually it works. It does not always.
I'll pump 2 Gnosis into that marsh.
Like, wade in fucking, like, belly deep. Pump out Gnosis.
Yep. Two levels worth.
Alright, you pump out some Gnosis. Let's do a slightly modified chance die. Getting a bonus. That's enough. With the extra 2 from the Gnosis you've pumped out.
Yeah.
You pump out the Gnosis, and admittedly, it's still very slow. It's one of those things where it's going to look like it hasn't worked. Pump out Gnosis. There's some skittering around as various ambient creatures respond, but none of them go for it. It just kind of pumps out into the muck under your toes. Though eventually, very lazily, there's a stirring.
Sits, like, pads back out of the water so he can sit down on his 4 haunches. Sits down like tail wagging slightly.
For what it is worth, she is somehow still spotless, and is perched on the driest possible spot, very daintily,
Of
very
course.
prim. But what eventually stirs out, because this is what I happen to have on hand, yay, is this.
Sits up, the other way you see like a dog standing to attention, like it's about to get food or something. That's that type of sit.
Yeah, she just slowly, so drowsily, and it's one of those things where you see the movement in the reeds, in the muck, in the algae, and she just kind of slowly rises out of it and blinks. Again, it's kind of a Rip Van Winkle situation. She looks dazed, tired, begins to glance around, and she does see you.
You say in spirit speech, I am sorry for waking you.
And her voice is kind of... And again, you understand her, of course, but her voice is still like, it's the soft buzz of mosquitoes, it's the chirping of a cicada, it's the flutter of a bird's wings, it's all of these things that crawl and fly and swim and live around her. It has it been long?
It's been some time.
It has been some time. And actually, what's your pure readout again?
3.
You haven't spoken to me in a long time.
The line fell. I am new.
And that somehow very pale, though, like, you can see like those lines. It looks very human as hands go, but you still see like in the creases of the fingers and whatnot. You see that the dark lines of like the grime, the muck, and whatnot. The the muddy, wet texture that makes up the marsh, you know. But still, somehow the fingers themselves under that seem very pale as she kind of reaches up. How far have you backed off?
Not that very far. It's just to get a better sitting position, essentially.
She's still in the deeper bit, so she reaches out and kind of misjudges, but reaches out as though she was going to touch your nose. But she's not closing that distance. Because if you've backed out enough to sit, I assume you're no longer sitting in the water.
Fuck no, I'll be in the water. Fuck it.
Yeah, she just reaches out to kind of touch you, just to make sure.
That doesn't move.
Still looks reasonably dazed. You left me.
It was not my intention. I was called away.
You came while you were gone.
Who did?
And she, again, it's so slow. It seems like it's still kind of a trial for her to move around. Like she doesn't remember how to move anymore, but she slowly twists around and just points off to where those strands are. I want to make me what I am not.
There's a snarl under his breath. I will take care of them.
Yes. Yes, do that. Like we promised.
Yes. Like we promised. I mean, he ascends into Krynos.
All right, buddy. And she doesn't seem even remotely alarmed that you're in Krynos.
Oh no, I go like the fucking Crusader Death March music to those spider webs.
Oh yeah. And as you go over into, you bypass her, and it's as you're approaching, what you're finding there is it's not. And here's the irony: there are probably in the Umbra some strands around the outside of the house, especially now that you guys are kind of putting a sense of order and getting things working again. There's a few of them here and there, but here there is a very small area, where at least Umbra side, what you will see is almost not even quite a cocoon, kind of like a funnel web almost. And so at this one point, there's fairly tight woven strands kind of funneling down and in. And as it stretches out, it doesn't reach but so far. But the furthest strands are very singular. Like it obviously has to splay out to reach. And so there are those. And then let me grab one of these little guys. All these little doodads. Gotta have a couple of them. And let's see, which ones shall we use? We'll use one of these ones. There's, all right. There'll be at least one little guy that looks like this. And these are small. These are like small enough that they could sit in a human hand. But definitely long enough of leg that it would splay, from wrist to fingertip. But they could easily perch in a human hand.
Picks it up.
And then there are several. There's like one like that. And then there are several of like. Let's grab a green one. Oh, not that green one. Green one. And there are several of these little ones. Little bulbs.
Picks it up.
You just you just stomp over and like scoop one.
Yep. Not harshly, but very gently. Like, up you come into my Krynos claw.
Are you like just doing the little pinch grab?
Yep.
Wait. You pluck it up. It starts flashing kind of erratically. There are a handful of these ones with the bulbs, and there's kind of a constant synchronized flickering between them. It's kind of reminiscent of Morse code, and all you hear is, like, as far as how it translates to spirit speech, is kind of humming back and forth. But as you pick it up, it starts kind of flashing wildly, and it's like, oh, hey. Stay purpose! Flails its little legs. Stay purpose!
You're in my territory. Assessing your threat level. State your purpose.
Threat level negligible.
Threat level determined. You have... Looks over at the fucking marsh. You have irked my territory. Assessing threat level.
Primary objective. Obtaining information.
Has your information been obtained?
Affirmative.
Then you may leave.
And it kind of, I mean, is it sitting on his hand or is it like pinched in his fingers?
It's like up in the finger, like he's I wouldn't say it's close to his face enough that I can latch on his face, but it's enough that she can just see the seriousness in his face.
But it's like curled in his hand, like being restrained, as opposed to being held.
Restrained. Firm. We have not negotiated terms of you being allowed to spy on my land.
It's always fun to sit here and try to think of exactly how to phrase their responses. Anomaly noted. Conflict of interest is... Conflict of interest is noted.
Good. When you're ready to present a negotiation, I will listen. Until then, you may leave.
Primary objective is not fully... Primary objective not fully realized.
Primary objective may not be fully realized. Until you're ready to negotiate, you may leave.
A series of rapid blinking, and it's funny because you got them curled in your hands, so your hand's kind of starting to glow as it goes beep, 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 boop, boop, boop. The other ones are boop, boop, booping back.
Unless you're ready to negotiate, then your primary objective may be tolerated. But until then, you may leave.
Proposal. Negotiation.
The marshland is off limits. Everywhere else, you are welcome to observe. No harm is to be done. Observation only. If harm is done, brute force will become necessary.
Exerting influence over the surrounding landscape would devalue primary objective.
And we are clear, the marshland is off limit. Everywhere else is welcome to observation.
There's more, bing, 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 going on back and forth. The ones on the webs have, a couple are still kind of marching and just doing their due. Which, to be fair, is just kind of like running up a strand. Their little LEDs on the front of their faces will flash a few times, and then they go back down the strand and flash their faces down into the, they kind of travel down into the funnel, and you see more flashing. Application.
What is that?
Oh, I'm just not in the zone for this to do it as fast as I did in the other scene. Housing unit must be relocated.
That is your problem, not mine. I have given you terms. There are plenty of trees, but not in the marsh.
Objection.
Noted.
Housing unit cannot be manipulated by program.
Housing unit cannot be. He just rubs his. He thinks about rubbing his face then. What does that entail?
Housing unit must be relocated.
Starts walking, still holding this fucking thing.
There's a bit of scurrying on the web by one or two of them, but I mean, most of them haven't done anything. This one is just still kind of clenched up in your hand. He can't really do anything.
Starts walking all the way toward where the umbral reflection of the generator will be.
Ooh. You just walk him all the way back to the house and plonk him on the generator.
There's your fucking new location. Is that suitable?
And are you actually going to plonk him on it?
Yep. Just.
There's a moment where it sits there. There's no flashing. And then it loudly, it brightly flashes once or twice and screams, "Assessing!" and starts all over the generator.
Folds his arms. Big Krynos arms.
It eventually pops back up. Bloop! Boink! Right up on top of the generator, which at this point is starting to be defined as if when this thing has been running around, it's kind of leaving, again, very, very thin nylon strands. I mean, they're just kind of, they're certainly not like the sickly, dripping, tacky stuff you're used to seeing. It's just, and starts kind of outlining the thing almost, and finally, boink, back on top. Housing unit not compatible with programming. Updating. And then it just, boink, like its little body plunks down and it just lays there. And it kind of has that, like if you've ever seen like a loading screen or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
The light starts doing kind of like the police siren, like the spinning light thing, which you imagine is kind of the equivalent to like the little loading circle. Wum, 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 wum.
Mouth stack back down to Hamid, like tapping his foot, like, come on.
And it's one of those things where it's just long enough for you to start wanting to like throw your phone across the room,
Mm-hmm.
and finally, just out of nowhere, it just reanimates. It looks almost like a little hunk of metal while it's sitting there if the light wasn't whirring, and finally just perks back up.
Well,
New housing unit is very basic, but acceptable. Very high power.
then we are having a cord.
Give me an alertness check.
I see your shit.
So as you're standing there, it's like, so we have an accord. It says affirmative. And you realize, mostly because it starts kind of jouncing around, that as you have walked it all the way back to your house, it has left that same kind of very thin, barely visible little tendril of like nylonish strand behind it. And the rest of them are clattering along it.
Shudders as he's walking back.
And they all hilariously, like, it's one of those things where it's like you want to be mad, it's a spider. But the others do a very similar kind of song and dance when they get there. They take a minute, they wind around the thing, assess it, further defining the generator by doing so, as they leave little lines of strands of web as they go. But simultaneously, you'll see like 3 or 4 more of them simply, declare updating and dunk and just kind of plunk down with the whirring lights.
As he's probably spending the rage to help cover the distance, walking a bit faster. He's like, it's very generator. You know what I mean? He's walking along. Eventually comes back to her one then, grumbling like, Miss Spider with my stupid mechanical adorable little light.
So you blow some rage. You go back out to the marsh. There is still kind of the nest of abandoned webbing there, still in that odd funnel shape, but it has been completely abandoned. The others have decided they like this new plan better and have muttered.
Wades back into the water, which where your one is. They have been relocated.
She pitches that kind of sleepy, grumpy look at the webs, because they're still there, but to be fair, they're not doing anything yet. Side-eye.
I'm sure you can have your people take care of them while you sleep.
We do not reach to the other side of the gauntlet.
We'll take care of it.
She kind of slumps back down lazily into the water, so it covers her much like a blanket, like more of that algae lily pads and stuff kind of sway over her as she goes down. But she's still kind of draped up where you can see her. And she begins to idly make a beckoning motion to the air. So lazily, so sleepily. And almost firefly-like, these little fairy lights will begin drifting in, drifting around her. They've been floating around and flickering anyways. But they gather in as she murmurs. And it takes some time. It takes some talking. She's so sleepy. And nonetheless, once she's done and settles in, one arm kind of tucked under her odd, like, peat mossy hair, they all begin in kind of a cloud, dancing around Firefly-like and eventually splitting off to bounce along, they all begin to kind of trail back towards the house.
Is our agreement still intact?
So long as that. And she gestures again, very lazily with a hand. So long as it is gone. So long as you do not let them.
They won't come back here.
Yes, that.
But since I have been away, and I have missed you so, perhaps you could do one thing for me, just so I can remember what you sound like to me.
Mm-hmm.
There has been many snakes here. They have been disturbing other parts of the garden.
In the garden.
Yes.
She finally kind of squints a bit. Oh, they shouldn't be in the garden. She wouldn't like that.
No, she's very upset. I had to calm her down.
You roll that lie.
I will roll that fly so fucking fast, Kitty. You've no fucking idea.
You
My
roll.
revenge.
He
My
said
revenge.
lyingly.
My revenge with 2 or 3 successes shooting a willpower.
You know what 3 is about where I was going to call it, so fine.
But I decided not to let her strike out in anger. Instead, I came to you.
I will talk to my children.
Thank you. You are most kind.
I would rather they stay close.
Of course. Of course. You are most kind.
Yes.
You should sleep now. I've taken care of everything.
A lazy nod. And she seems content. Kind of curled up there with the mud and the water and the moss and all, kind of creating the strangest blanket.
Anton's making the palpitating noises back in the back of his head, like, yes. Now, snakes, your revenge is mine. You know, he stands up out of the water.
You are now soggy.
Looks over at the ancestor with the what you think expression on his face.
She is deliciously unreadable at the moment.
You know, he walk out, just makes the shake of his clothes as he's walking along. Probably she's following him, I'm assuming.
Oh, yes, and she is carefully, even though she can't be affected by the water that you're spraying around in the mud, she still very carefully is like, I'm just going to give you an extra 10 feet for a minute while you do that. Don't you splatter me, young man.
So what do you think, then, grandmother?
I think you are lucky that it was not worse. Very lucky that she is very pliant when she is very tired.
Took advantage of it.
She reaches out again, suddenly right next to you, and again it's that grasp up of the chin, like, I'm so proud of you kind of gesture.
And the spiders will make our artificial light stronger in the end, which will help what we're doing when we need to work. All in all, I call that a victory. And the snakes have been driven back. He says smugly, like, yeah, that's right. I've already 66 your asses.
Oh my god. It is not bad work for such a small boy. You should grow nicely. It is about time our line is seen again.
Plan on it. He's walking. Fuck it. I'll walk far enough to my car and transition back into the DeLorean and bring Hazel all soggy and like blah, blah.
And she, admittedly, on the walk back, seems to be contented with what she's seen, and especially with you not trying to hold communication anymore, will just kind of fade. So you're getting in your car, you say?
Yeah, grumbling. Like, soggy water.
Hilariously, you are in fact still soggy.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Like that, she said. He's grumbling. Like, no, Anton, don't do the thing you do. You know what I mean? He's just being a grumpy teenager.
All right, give me a very low diff alertness check as you cross over.
2, 3.
Beautiful. Now, the house isn't lit, not in the conventional sense, not like you would expect with electric lighting, but it is. There is ambient light inside.
Would you look at that? He says to himself.
Yeah, it's just kind of this soft glow.
In the back of his head, thank you, Bill. You know, you're welcome, Bill. No, thank you, Anton. You know what I mean? As he started the car. Oh, no problem, Sage. It was all days. You know, he starts thanking himself for them. Jane, you know, it's all part of the job. As he's driving.
So what are you sending to Hazel there, buddy old pal?
Just says you free.
Oh, she answers back. Free is a relative term.
Free for someone who's after been wandering around Marshland for a day.
Gross.
Yeah, are you free? I need somewhere to fucking change.
There's like a pause. I mean, don't you have somewhere better to shower than a motel? Question mark.
Where are you?
Out, but you could be here if you wanted to be.
Okay.
There's another pause. Are you gonna smell like swamp?
I'll do my best not to, but I can't guarantee anything.
Gross.
Yeah, I could always just shower at your place.
Eh. You get like sent back a finger wag gif, the type thing.
Shrugs.
And after that, she just sends, call me paranoid, but you know the rules.
Oh, we're operating on rules now.
Hey, motel is fair game. My place, not so much.
Fine, motel then.
And she will, after a pause where she's looking at her phone, like, oh, that was easy enough. We'll look up and quickly send you, like, the maps, like Google Maps address.
Yeah, you drive there easy enough.
Yep. She will send you out towards Roanoke, actually.
Makes a note of that.
Out in Roanoke, in fact.
He makes a mental note.
Yep. It doesn't send you to the nicest side of town, but it's
That's
kind of dumpy little motel there.
He parks up the car, sprays himself with inks, like, you know what I mean, and then we'll walk in, to wherever room she's fucking put him in.
She just basically says, "I'll be there in a minute," and like you've got a longer drive than she does by far. So when she says I'll be there in a minute, it means that like you're pulling in and like within moments she pulls in.
He just sprays himself with links and just follows her whatever direction she's pointing at the room at.
Let me grab Hazel. There she is. So yeah, she just kind of gestures to a door and starts rifling through her pockets to get the little key card.
Yeah, he waits for her.
And yeah, she'll, well, not even, yeah, key card, slides into the slot, pops it out. Has to do it like 2 times before the little damn thing actually like reads it properly and goes green. Pops it open, going like, son of a, these fucking things. And yeah, finally pops the door successfully and holds it open.
Walks in, heads straight for the shower.
Leans in behind. You even have a change of clothes?
Yeah, I always have a change of clothes with me.
Okay.
He decides quickly showers, you know what I mean? Throws on like a different pair of jeans and a different t-shirt, that type of thing. Comes out in his bare feet, you know? Because he didn't have spare socks, unfortunately.
Well,
So he just puts them on the radiator.
and yeah, when he's finally like getting himself dressed and prepping to come out, I mean, she's not being hyper secretive about it. Just see her putting a couple things away in her purse and kicking it under the bed.
No, it makes a note of that. Walk out, back in.
So, exciting day of slugging through a swamp. Where did you even find a swamp?
There's a lot of swamps in Natural Bridge.
In the mountains?
You'd be surprised what you can find.
Okay.
What you've been doing?
Working.
How's that going?
There's kind of a shrug. Not the way it usually does. You get better at business here. Oh, there's more competition.
Looks around. How's the atmosphere?
Not good.
Okay.
I got a couple calls. You know, block numbers.
What'd they say?
Just looking for Johnny. Told him I had no idea.
They believe you?
I mean, seems like.
Okay. Fits into what I'm about to do. They say who was calling.
No.
Okay. What can you tell me about this Sean then? From what you heard in the street, obviously.
I know he's a supplier. Like, not a dealer, but a supplier.
Yeah.
And I know you don't fuck with him.
He got connection to this guy called Joseph.
Wouldn't fucking know, honestly.
No, he just nods like, no, that's fair enough.
Like I said, Johnny was kind of my only step up.
What other stories have you heard? I imagine that people talk.
I mean, they always talk. The question is whether you believe anything they're saying, really.
What's the most believable? Is he lighting a cigarette?
I mean, a lot of the gun stuff is pretty believable, really. But I don't know. They say crazy shit. Everyone says crazy shit.
Johnny told me that one of his guys will at least have an AK or some sort of rifle.
Huh. Okay, so that one was true.
Usually travels with 2 or 3 people.
I'd be surprised if it's only 2 or 3. They make it sound like an army.
Of course they do. But he said usually 2 or 3 come.
She just kind of shrugs. Just sounds like a really big fish, man. I'm a
Good.
really little fish.
I know you are.
Just trying not to get accidentally inhaled, you know?
I'm trying to keep you from that.
Yeah. So, I haven't poked too much
No.
because, yeah, short of pillow talk, it's really not safe.
I don't want to put you in that position.
She just kind of shrugs.
Hey, don't shrug. I don't. You're worth more than that to me.
She finally just kind of like, where are you situated?
Probably sitting on the bed, probably there's a space in between as he's lighting a cigarette.
Yeah. She just reaches over, gives him that pat on the cheek. You're sweet. But, look, I know you feel ways about it. To be honest, up until lately, I'd say I need the money more than I need my dignity. So,
So,
I mean, I figure if my dignity was flashing into this, I would have just fleshed the lot and fucking rolled out. Sadly, dignity doesn't pay. So, shrugs. But I like that you give a shit.
I care. And I don't think you should sell your dignity for something.
Yeah, everyone's got a price.
There's a difference between having a price and keeping yourself intact.
My price is just lower than most.
Looks over. Shouldn't be.
She shrugs. Shouldn't.
I know, but don't let it.
Well, I mean, you seem to be good for it, so it's not a matter of needs must anymore.
Good. I'm glad.
So,
So,
why were you crawling around in a swamp?
I'm doing some business.
In a swamp?
Yeah.
Why?
Settling old deals.
Did you scream get out of my swamp at least once? There's a bit of a grin.
It was tempting, but no. It was very tempting.
I could see you doing it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh. Well, I got a recording for you.
That would be amazing. Oop. Sorry, say again?
We will see.
Video evidence of your ogre tendencies? I'll take it.
How old are you, by the way? You never told me.
That's because it doesn't matter.
Indulge me.
He just kind of leans in. Why? Are you afraid you're robbing the cradle?
I'm 17.
Oh, I'm robbing the cradle.
Yeah. He just accepted everyone's fucking older than him at this point.
There's a smirk.
How old are you?
Old enough to know it's rude to ask a lady how old she is. Looks him on the nose. Boop.
Mid-20s.
Very rude.
Grin's back. 25.
Now, if I told you, it would ruin the air of mystery. Jeez.
You're 25.
I mean, if that's what you want to stick with, Slugger.
27.
Kind of quirks a brow at him. You're just gonna throw out wild numbers till I say yes.
You're 30.
Oh, I see. No, I see. You're waiting to see when I get offended, aren't you?
34.
Shakes her head. I really would be robbing the cradle, wouldn't I?
Yeah, you would be. Smirk.
Shameless.
I put you about 21, genuinely.
Shrugs.
Shrugs again.
Like I said, it really matter.
Matters to me.
Why?
Because I care.
About how old I am?
No. I just
Is
want to know.
this going to
Can
be a
I
segue into when my birthday is?
can I
And it
not
grins.
can I not get to know somebody?
Old enough to drink, not old enough to rent a car.
So 20, 21.
Gotta be 21 for booze, honey. Pokes his nose again.
19.
I said I was old enough to drink. Jeez.
22. Nods to himself.
Now you have me at 21. Finally just kind of shrugs, throws up the hands like, fuck it. This is going to go forever because he's not going to stop and finally just gives up.
21.
Cradle
Interesting.
robbing with the best of them.
It's not that bad. I'll be 18 at the end of the month.
No, you'll be legal.
Rubs his face. Like, it's not that bad.
It's really not.
Why are you so against me knowing you?
Well, you see, if we go and get invested, then when I get that medical bill paid, it'll ruin my whole plan of moving the fuck out of the state.
Aren't you invested already?
Shrugs.
It's not an answer.
It's not. It's almost like it wasn't supposed to be.
Regardless if you're invested or not. If that's what you want to do, I won't stop you. If I stopped you, then I wouldn't be invested, would I?
Is this one of those if you love me, let me go situations?
No, it would just mean make me a liar.
I've seen some pretty unhealthy investment in my day. Trust me, you can still be invested and do shit like that. People do. All the time.
Well, I know that, but I'm not like most people. I think you've noticed.
Nah, you're pretty weird.
So, I'm invested. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Why? I mean, not that I'm trying to look a gift horse in the mouth, but why?
Care. The last person I should have invested in ended up dying. Last person I should have kept a closer eye on ended up getting hurt. I've made too many mistakes. I'm not making the same mistake again.
Some people would say you're making a bigger one.
Well, they can say what the fuck they like. This feels actually right to me for once. Now, for all I know, you could be double shysted me. Thoughts cross my mind.
Yeah? And you're still invested?
If you get out, I don't, and you get out and you keep your brother safe, then, well, at least I did one good thing before the end. I'm a pioneer now. Just got the 1, and it's a 9.
Let's give her first reroll.
Should probably beat him.
Probably should give her a higher pull than this, but human.
Yeah, easily.
She's keeping it even keel. She is trying not to give shit away.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if you message him on your phone telling him that you're meeting me exactly here. If you did, I wouldn't blame you. As long as you got out. That's the main thing.
That's no way to get out.
It's better to sometimes it is better to cling on to the thing that you know is safe rather than a wild card like me.
Yeah, but I'd still be in for the money. So, all things considered, made a pretty decent payment on the shit I owe. More than I earned in a night. It's a really good night.
I stick by my word.
You do seem to be really fixated on the promise thing. And, they're not. I don't even know these assholes.
That's not because you care.
I'm trying really hard not to.
Shouldn't. Because he's dragging the cigarette.
Why not? Had a grins over like, really?
You shouldn't.
Shouldn't care or shouldn't try so hard.
Shouldn't care.
A smart person wouldn't.
So I'll get you out, and everything will be good for you. I'll make sure you're safe. Me? There's no getting out. Not anymore.
I mean, if you keep taking sob cases like mine, nah, we'll be in this forever. A lot of people don't do this because they want to. Because they think it's cool. It's people in situations.
Well, guess forever is a good long length of time then.
Oh boy. She finally just kind of flops back. Okay, we gotta get you a therapist.
Therapist for what? I shot a man cold-blooded out in the middle of a field.
I wouldn't tell him that. That's confessing to a crime.
I kneecapped him too. Because he hurt you.
There's marked kind of silence, like, ew.
I was gonna let him live, but after he put the bruise on you, that was it for me. Then I realized as I plugged him in the back of the head that I'm probably going to be in this life for the rest of my life.
I don't have to be, you know.
Nobody else will give a shit.
Is that why you're in? Just because someone needs to give a shit?
Yeah. Nobody else will. Nobody else will have the gumption to do what I do to make sure that people like you are safe.
Most people are more readily deterred by the whole law breaking nature of it and the risk of getting shot in the back of the head. Or black bagged in an alley, or who knows what else.
I've been shot before.
Really?
It's only pain.
Are you serious right now?
If we don't grow from it, then we won't learn.
Most people don't grow from gunshot wounds. They bleed, and in worst case scenarios, they die.
It was only in the shoulder.
Oh, only. How's your shoulder these days?
Rolls it perfectly. Like I said, I'm tougher than I look.
Are you full of shit? I don't even remember seeing a gunshot wound.
I got shot before. Went clean through.
Oh, God.
I told you. I'm in.
You're really determined to be in.
I have to be. So if you do double shice me, there won't be any hard feelings.
I feel like I'd be kicking a puppy at this point. Jesus, man, you're already in line for some really harsh shit just if the people already looking for you luck out.
They're not gonna find me. And if they do, well, I'll be in for a big surprise.
Yeah, I guess so. With that attitude towards gunshot wounds, yeah, I figure they'll be pretty surprised.
But you shouldn't care.
This like reverse psychology? Because it feels like reverse psychology.
No. No reverse psychology.
Are you
Nope.
sure?
Nobody else usually gave a shit, so I'm used to people not caring.
What about that chick friend of yours?
She cares, but I tell her not to.
Oh, does it work on her?
I hope it does.
I feel like you're really bad at convincing. But why would you?
Safer. Suppose that's why you have your walls too. Why you don't let me see your place? Look over with a smirk on his face.
That is just common sense.
It's common sense to not have people be attached. Not very good at it.
Jesus, man. You are just a little ray of sunshine, aren't you?
Used to be.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm buying it.
One point I used to care was I can sneak out without my mom noticing.
Alright, I think everyone had that stage.
It was a couple of months ago, actually. Huh.
So what stopped it?
I killed somebody.
Well, that's all she wrote, huh?
The person I was protecting needed to be protective. I made a decision.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry, there were noises happening in my general vicinity. You say the last bit again for me?
The person I was protecting needed to be protected, so I made a decision as he takes a drag of the cigarette.
And just threw your whole life in the crapper?
Is either that or let her be hurt. She was innocent. She doesn't deserve any of it.
Jesus, man.
I don't regret it. Not anymore.
Think she does?
She doesn't know. I didn't tell her. I just told her to close her eyes and everything would be alright. Boo-hoo, right? Look over with a little bitter smile on his face.
She finally makes a little frown and reaches up to snag the back of his shirt and yank, pull him back down. Because she's been laying on her back for, like, at least the latest part of this conversation.
He lies back down, so he's across from her. Cigarette in his mouth, like, so he's just looking up at the ceiling as he takes a drag.
You know, an attitude like that's gonna get you killed, right?
What you mean?
I mean, you're putting all your bets on this one chick, right? Like you're doing it for her. So what if something happens to her?
I'll kill them all.
And what if you die?
I won't.
And where's that gonna leave you?
Where I belong.
Where are you? Jesus, man. You know what? I'm gonna roll one of these, and you're getting it on the house. Fuck me. She finally like starts hauling herself up into a sit. Yeah.
Sits up very slowly and looks at her. What sort of game do you think we're playing?
Shakes her head and tugs her purse out from under the bed, snags a baggie out of it, snags the rollies. Still shaking her head. Look, man. If it's as bad as it sounds, there's a real chance this chick could die. Like you said, you're getting in this for her, right?
To keep her safe, yeah.
Yeah.
But she won't. And if they take her from me, well, I'll take everything they have from them. Their loved ones, their friends.
And you'll still have thrown away all that shit that used to make you happy. She'll just be gone.
Yeah. And I'll be a fool.
I don't feel like that makes you a fool. Just. Fuck, this is dark. I thought my shit was dark.
That girl has nothing left. They took everything else from her. I had to take care of it for her. When we found her parents eventually.
Fuck. She rolls the first one. She reaches over and like takes your hand, twists it over so she's got the palm up, plants it in your hand, and starts rolling one for herself because fuck, this is a lot.
Just stares at her. Like I said, what hard game do you think this is?
Look, man, I've made some concessions and I've done some shit I never wanted to do, never thought I was gonna do. But I'm not dying for this, and
And who says I'm going to die?
I can still get out. I
I
can still
can't.
go somewhere else and just fucking live. How can you not? Why
Because
don't
I've
you just
done.
take her and get the fuck out of here?
Because then I'll be leaving other people behind.
How many lost causes have you taken on?
A lot. A lot of people look to me for help.
And as she's
But
like sealing the little paper, she's like, man, you don't do shit halfway. Pulls out a lighter next.
he'll turn her chin with the bit of his finger, not aggressively, but like turns the cheek so she faces him. No. Because then I'll fail.
So In the meantime?
In the meantime?
Yeah.
What you mean?
Well, you can't be a fucking comic book hero 24/7. In the meantime, in the downtime?
Pretty good carpentry.
Are you serious right now?
Nods. Pretty good.
She finally just has the most bemused smirk as she's gonna light her joint and suck in about half a breath and
Like
offer the fucking lighter over.
I like sci-fi movies. I like parties. I like getting drunk. I like dancing like an idiot.
And she finally like puffs out the breath. I hope with most girls you do this list of interests and goals in the reverse order.
No.
You just always lead with grim doom.
Gets the ladies moist and wet.
Oh my fucking god.
I don't mind this. He puts his hand on hers. Like playing with the idle bits of the knuckle with his fingers.
Yeah, I feel like that should go on your list of hobbies.
Being able to talk to someone.
Oh. Nah, I read too far into that. Takes another puff.
Drugs or whatever, but
I was implying sex. The whole physical contact thing, I was implying sex. Maybe you should put that on the list. Your enthusiasm does not leave anything to be desired. And her
looks
side
up
eyes him like,
looks
I'm
up
just gonna make this blunt.
I have sex.
Yes, you do.
Is that what you think this is?
After that conversation, no. No, that is not the bow chicka bow wow of lead ups. No.
Is that what you think I'm doing right now? Is just calling you so I can fuck you to make myself feel better?
Like I said, with a lead up like that, no, not really.
So what do you think it is?
She kind of thinks about it for a second, takes another pull and holds it, keeps thinking about it, finally sighs it out. I think misery loves company.
It's not like you care.
Why do you come to me for this?
Take hold of her hand and stare at it.
She has given up the hand. It has been surrendered.
You look like I did for a long time.
And
Perhaps
all
maybe,
these people relying on you?
maybe I can't let them see that I'm just as scared as they are.
But it's different with me.
Feels natural to tell you that I'm just as frightened as you are about everything.
She kind of rolls her lip in thoughtfully. And she kind of starts just, the figures start kind of moving, reacting, because she's being touched, and that's just kind of what you do, honestly. It's not like she likes him or anything. So, on a scale of trustworthy, you've got all these people. And that girl, whoever she is. I, I'm assuming the girl from the party, whoever the fuck, but got all these people. How much do you trust them?
You want me to answer honestly?
Yeah?
A girl from the party, two others I trust with my life. Everyone else I don't trust at all.
And me?
If I didn't trust you, I wouldn't be holding your hand.
Like you said, suppose it would only take one text if I had the right number.
I would. If I didn't trust you, you'd be dead already.
Heartwarming.
It would only take one text. We both know what would happen if you sent it.
Let me tell you, I sure as fuck wouldn't do it when you were here.
No. Maybe right now people are waiting to come in to do it.
Let me clue you. I have a stronger survival instinct than that. I don't do the bait thing. I am not Princess Peach. This is not my shit.
Even if they made you.
It depends on how they made me.
Exactly.
Depends on whether they scare me more than you do.
I don't like the fact that I scare you, then you're more frightened of me.
Sorry, say it again?
That's the one thing I don't like, you'll say.
No? You said you'd kill me. Not working as a deterrent as well as it should. Suppose my survival instinct should come into question after all.
I don't think I'd do it now, though.
Hmm.
Or if I did, I would. I don't know. Would you send that text now?
Not if I thought I could skate without doing it. Not if I
No.
thought my brother and I could get the fuck out of here.
If it was just because you cared?
Look, Anton, I do give a shit. You're a nice kid, I think. There's kind of conflicting evidence on the matter, but all this shit's been for nothing if he dies. And I'm
If your
not in this
brother
to die.
wasn't in the equation, let's say he was safe. You knew he was going to be safe.
And I knew I could get out.
Would you send it?
I knew I could get the fuck out of here. No. I wouldn't.
Peony. 4 successes.
No. She seems earnest.
Why?
Well, first off, I'm not a jackass. Like, I know Kind of gestures like off beyond the wall. I know this shit is fucked up. I know people die. So I'm very careful that I pay my shit up front. Shit gets too real too fast. But I don't want to get anyone killed.
1 second.
Honey, did you say 1 second?
I know he said and second. She said 2 reasons.
I don't want to be the reason someone dies. And I'm still trying to figure out why we're sitting and talking when we let off with gunshots, but here we are. So, yeah. I wouldn't want to do that to you. Wouldn't want to do that to anyone, really.
Reaches up with the tip of his hand and kisses the palm. Very softly.
She just looks kind of bemused. Like, what?
That's why I like talking to you.
Because I'm not a psycho murderer?
No. Because you care.
A smart person would call this poor judgment of character.
I was never very smart to begin with. Besides, lean back. You totally think I'm sexy.
Shakes her head. Like pulling the lighter back up now that she has the hand free. Shakes her head like, oh lord.
Silence is very telling.
Think your enthusiasm is heartwarming. She grins.
Uh-huh. And I know a smile when I see one. I get the feeling the
You
smile
sure you know what smiles are?
I get the
It's
feeling
back.
I get the feeling the smile you gave me the other day, you don't give to much people.
I'm told my retail smile is on point.
That wasn't a retail smile.
What? It's crazy talk. Pulls off the fucking joint. Pshaw, essentially. I don't know what you're talking about.
He'll lift up the arm, like it's almost as an invitation type of thing.
And she glances back with the breath hitched in and shrugs and flops down.
You know, I could stay in this motel for a couple of days.
She kind of puffs out the breath abruptly. You think you can die of rug burn? I think I'd die of rug burn.
Could just get a new motel.
You didn't get it.
I got it. That's why I was saying we could get a new one. That's Rugburn.
I wasn't complaining about the rug.
Oh.
Though yes. Chapped ass is never a good thing. Besides, I don't think we actually hit the floor last time.
We didn't.
Like, there was a wall, and then we broke one of the blinds off.
We did.
And then I'm pretty sure we went down on one side of the bed and came up on the other.
I know you're a big, tough badass and all that. We rubbed a bit of her shoulder with his thumb. But if I have nightmares during the night, doesn't leave this motel, okay?
I'm really not a badass.
Neither am I.
You fake it more convincingly than I do.
Well, let's just say, all the sex aside, let's just not be macho with each other, okay?
I mean, I'm not even trying to be macho. I'm just... I don't know. Just trying to not make any decisions I'll regret.
The only decision I'm going to make in regards to you is you'll peck her tenderly on the lips. It's how much money I can give you to make sure you can get enough steadily to get your brother out.
God, you were gonna leave a swath of illegitimate children across half the U.S.
Eyebrow raise?
She smiles, and it's a pretty broken down and honest smile. She just kind of shakes her head.
What do you
Fuck,
mean?
man. It's just... I shouldn't give a shit.
You shouldn't.
And I really shouldn't be in this hotel room with you.
You shouldn't.
I should be avoiding you at all costs.
You should.
I just sound all smart, kind of shoves his shoulder.
Oh, we locked the door.
Oh, it locks automatically.
Yeah,
You can throw the bolt, though.
I did.
Oh.
I make stupid decisions.
Yeah?
A lot of stupid decisions I make. I'll smile awkwardly.
Sorry, say it again?
I make stupid decisions, essentially. You know, like you
Yeah.
control the ball. You know, that type of thing.
Here's hoping our stupid decisions don't get us killed.
I don't plan on getting you killed.
Not planning on getting you killed either, but man...
Well, for now. Takes hold of her hand. Let's not think about that.
That'd be good.
This is the safety room.
Oh, is it?
For now, at least. In which
Safety room needs a new carpet.
we'll work on that.
Snickers.
But give me one thing. I know you're all... Give me your actual name.
Made me tell you before.
You just told me to call you Hazel.
It seemed nice and impersonal that way.
Are we really being impersonal?
No. We're stupid.
What's your name?
It's Danielle.
Danielle what?
Oh, I don't remember the last name I gave you in the first scene. It's surname here.
I mean, you could just make up a new one because she could have technically lied to him. I got the impression she was lying to me the whole time.
Oh no, she was terrified. You rolled so much intimidate.
But besides the point, you can think about the last name later. What I
Yeah.
have here in this room, I'm only gonna call you Danielle. Out there, you're Hazel. It's all fine.
I hope this room includes the next dumpy motel we meet up in. Grinning.
Smile. Like touches the bottom of her lip with his thumb, like playfully. Like I said, once we lock that door, no matter what motel or hotel or whatever the fuck we're in, Hazel goes away. I go away. And it's just Anton and Danielle.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's make a bad decision worse.
It's not a bad decision to have a room where you can just be yourself. Nobody else can see it.
Okay.
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 If that's alright with you, Danielle.
God, it's weird.
Eyebrow raise.
I mean, think about it. What calls me Danielle but my brother? I didn't give any of these assholes my real name. And I'm not a big enough fish that they actually care.
Just as the scene is fading to black, he'll peck her one more time on the cheek and look at her. I care.